Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the basketball community. You understand what I'm saying? Don't miss basketball conversations every Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, is where we discuss basketball related topics, news, debates, and everything else in the world of basketball. You know what I mean? And for all the new people that's coming in, feel free to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get all the latest notifications when I start releasing videos and dropping live streams. And please spread the word about the channel though too. We're at 710 subscribers and we making moves out here. All right. With that out the way, let's get down to business here, shall we? So I've always had a good distinctive thought about what were some of the guys that Michael Jordan had respect for and had difficulty playing against. And I came across this person right here. And the person I'm talking about is Mitch Richmond. Um, for those of y'all that don't know, Mitch Richmond was from Kansas State. Okay. He came into the NBA, I think was right around, right, 1988, and he was the fifth overall pick by the Golden State Warriors. Now, Mitch Richmond was a rookie of the year in his first season, obviously. And then also, he was part of the great Run TMC team with the Warriors with Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin, who were coached by Don Nelson, basically focusing on a fast-paced type of offense that is looked to outscore you, almost an equivalence to what you see with Dan Tony's 5 seconds or less offense. Okay, now the one thing that I always was intrigued about on Rich Richmond was that how imposing he was and how strong he was. Because the one thing that Jordan had major respect for was how Mitch Richmond's strength and toughness allowed him to basically push Michael Jordan around in certain areas on the floor and make it difficult for him. As Mitch Richmond talked about, in his podcast, you know what I mean, in his Purple Talk podcast, okay, what he said was that when he when he first came into the league, he was fast and quick, and he was all of those things, but he wasn't strong. Everything early was just at flight. Later on, when he started playing with the team, when he started doing everything down low and bodying you, he started lifting weights, posting up more, and taking it off his game a bit with his speed. All right. In addition to that, Richmond wasn't the kind of guy that didn't talk much. You know what I mean? And Michael respected that. He just went in there, you know, played his game, and let his play do the talking for him. As he said, I never really talked to him. I really tried to play him each night and every night hard. He still got his 30 points. I still got my 30 points, but it was just a great battle. And the one thing that I really respected about how Mitch Richmond played was is that not only that he was physically imposing, but he had one of the best quick triggers in the NBA. If he had a chance to play in today's NBA, he would be averaging at least 25 to 30 points per game, considering the fact how the NBA at this particular point is now emphasizing the 3-point shot more than frequently. Unfortunately, Mitch Richmond got traded to the Sacramento Kings before the 91-92 season, and he didn't get the recognition and really the exposure that a lot of the great guards were. Now, when Jordan first initially retired during that time, it was a bit of a debate about who was the best shooting guard in the game at that particular point, and Mitch Richmond was part of that conversation. You know what I mean? With Clyde Drexler and Mitch Richmond at that particular point. But when Clyde Drexler, went down with that knee injury, that pretty much took away his athletic ability. And when Jordan came back, there was a bit of discussion about who was the best overall two guard between Richmond and Jordan. Obviously, Jordan won that conversation by far. But when you look at his career, Mitch Richmond's career, he made 6 All-Star teams. All right. And plus, he won the 1995 All-Star Game MVP down in Phoenix. You know what I mean? Weighing at 6'5" and 220 pounds, there was a reason why he was called the Rock. He was a long-range assassin, and he was basically strong as an ox and athletically gifted. All right, and so one of his, as I said before, one of his finest moments of his career was how he pretty much pretty much dominated the 1995 All-Star game when he shot 10 of 13 from the field and scored 23 points and didn't miss any shots from downtown. And to this day, people are still talking about how great he was. And that was one of his best defining moments of his basketball career. And he also was part of the 1996 Atlanta team and won the gold medal with them too. But the one thing that I really loved about how Richmond played was is that he was initially a slasher, coming in from college, and then he revamped this, and then he improved his game even more by adding the 3 point shot. And throughout his career, he scored at least 21 points and scored over 20,000 points through his career. And thankfully, he won a championship later in the final half of his career when he spent his final season with the Lakers and got his ring. And his his highest average was at 25.9 during the 96-97 season, and he was pretty much one of the most durable players in the game, pretty much playing at least 78 to 82 games a season. So he was pretty much durable, and Michael always charted down the games in Sacramento because he knew that it was going to be a battle when you go against Mitch Richmond. It's unfortunate that Mitch Richmond didn't have a good team around. You know what I mean? If he had that supporting cast that Weber had with Stojakovic, Divac, uh, and Mike Bibby later on in that decade, and also with Doug Christie too, I think Mitch Richmond would have had greater success in the Western Conference during that time. But he didn't have much to work with, and only made one playoff appearance back in 1996. And so, you know, unfortunately, he doesn't get recognized enough. But when he was on his game, he was pretty much unstoppable, and he could really do a lot of good things with the ball in his hands. You know what I mean? He can spot up, he can shoot, he knows how to come off screens very well, and he's a very good ISO player who can basically take you off the dribble though too. And so I just wanted to give some love and some respect to one of the most underrated shooting guards in the game, and a guy that doesn't get talked about a lot. And unfortunately, he won't be in the Mount Rushmore of great shooting guards. But I felt like Mitch Richmond deserves much respect because of the fact that how he can shoot the ball with such frequency. I think that if he were playing in today's game, I think he would average at least 25 to 30 points per game because of how emphasized this 3 point line is more frequently used. And can you imagine having him playing in that style with the Warriors? He would just be a fantastic player to have because he was strong as an ox and he can defend too. I mean, no disrespect to Klay Thompson. I love Klay Thompson. He's actually one of my favorite shooters too, and pretty much can do some of the things that Mitch Richmond used to do. But I think if you look at it athletic wise, I think that Mitch Richmond is more athletically superior than Klay Thompson is, just in my opinion, at least. And so I just wanted to give some love and give some respect to one of the best shooters that we seen during the '90s because he doesn't get talked about a lot because of who he was playing with and how his career went down in Sacramento before he got his chance to get his ring with the Lakers with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. So I just wanted to, give some love and respect on that aspect to him. And pretty much Michael Jordan knows when he came in against Mitch Richmond, he didn't back down from Michael. And so, Michael always gives his respect that he really truly deserves. And more importantly, I think the other thing too was that when Michael came back too, there was actually some specs that he was going to play once again in the Olympic Games. Michael actually turned that down and said, "Listen, I'm going to respectfully turn it down as long as Mitch Richmond gets my spot on the team." And thankfully the USA team saw it the same way, and they allowed Mitch Richmond to be on the team and basically earn his gold medal though too. So I just want to give some love and respect to one of the best shooters that doesn't get talked about a lot. And just to think, if the Warriors did not trade Mitch Richmond for that bum Billy Owens, can you imagine what the Warriors could have been? With Chris Mullin with his great emphasis on the shooting, and then Tim Hardaway with the great crossover dribble that he had. Man, the Warriors could have been something. But Don Nelson was always about playing small ball and always want to score a lot of points, but didn't really emphasize a lot on defense. So there is a lot to behold about that. But let me know what you guys think of the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about how Mitch Richmond impacted the game and how would he fare in today's basketball. You know what I mean? But y'all take care, guys. Peace.